Yo, what's up? This is John from Judge Innovation Girls in the Peach Capital of the State, boys and girls. All right, let's see. What's up, Dusty? What's up, Classic Car? JG, what's up, 84 Cuddy? We're gonna get up after it like super fast, like super fly. We ain't gonna waste no time tonight. We're gonna give it just a few minutes. We're gonna give it just a few minutes. Let some people get in here. I got the stuff changed up a little bit. I put the lights on this side. I got the fender on this side. I got a blanket laid down on a piece of 3/4 plywood, and go from there. Then I got to clean up. All right, so let me show you what I got going on. Let me show you what I got going on until some people get in here, and we'll start on that. I blocked the fender for the 68 C10. What's up, Big Fish? What's up, Scoot? 84. Yeah, so I blocked that fender. That's the fender for the 68. That spot right there was a little low. That's a brand new fender, so I skimmed it. I got the hood flipped back upside down. I got the nut inserts coming. This is the panel underneath the, this is the hood. So when you look at the hood, when you raise the hood, that's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see that. You won't see the bottom of it. There's the amp for the speakers. I talked to the audio guy today. They're building the custom box for behind the seat. It's getting 2 10s and a bunch of other stuff, so that's that. I'm thinking about, even though I got to bolt this here, I'm thinking about marking this, cutting this, TIG welding this and this together and making it one piece. I don't know yet. We'll get on there. Started working on the air box for the, I'll give y'all a little sneak peek, right? Give y'all a little sneaky peek. Right there is the air thing for the bumper. Also, I cut that much of the railroad iron off. I should have cut a better piece. This piece is pitted like nobody's business. But nevertheless, I'll get the grinder out and surface this, and then I'll polish this. And then I'm going to cut some holes, drill some holes into this, and then I'm gonna make it where I'm gonna drill some more 5/8 holes in the table where I can drop this in the table and I can have an anvil. And I'm gonna radius these corners. Now, what is that for? Let me show you. Let me show you what that's for. Hold on. So, what that's for is this right here. So, I took my hammer and dollies and I polished the ends. So, if you need to shape some metal, so if I need to put some radius on this or whatever, you can just put that up there like, hold on. You can put that up there like that, and see, you can radius the corners. Now, I'm gonna clean this up a whole lot better. I'm gonna clean it up better than what it is, and I'm gonna polish this out, make this just as slick as a brand new set of Twinkie wheels. Yes sir. And I'm gonna if you polish these, the ends of your body hammers, right? If you make them super slick, and you make this super slick, when you go to hammer and dolly on something, right? When you go to hammer and dolly on something, See, I made a flange. See that? Made a flange. So you can find a piece of railroad steel or iron without stealing, without five-finger discounting it. You can literally make anything that you want to make. I mean, literally. I mean, you can put nails up here and mash them flat. I mean, it's unlimited what you can do. You know what I mean? We got about 20 people on here. So you can't never have enough tools. I promise you. Can't never have enough tools. And I make a lot of my own stuff. So y'all remember this for the ones that's just getting here. Y'all remember this right here. So what I found out today by using this thing, y'all hear that? Ping, 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 ping. I'm gonna drill a hole right there in this tubing, and I'm gonna fill it full of sand. I'm gonna fill this tube full of play sand. I'm gonna fill this tube full of play sand. I'm gonna cap the ends. I'm gonna drill a hole in that, and I'm gonna fill that full of sand, and I'm gonna fill that one full of sand. And by filling it full of sand, it's gonna take away that ping, 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 ping. But y'all remember this, right? So put this in here like so, right? If I need to make a radius, right? Remember this. Now since it's on the stand, you know, I can make shapes, whatever I want to make. And then y'all remember the roller, right? Got the roller and the brake and all that. So I found out today that this didn't do what I wanted to do. So I'm gonna make another one. I'm gonna make one of these, but I'm gonna put two 2-ton bottle jacks from Harbor Freight, but I'm gonna plumb up the 2-ton bottle jacks to air over hydraulic where I can hook up to my airline, and then I'm gonna make a hydraulic press. Cause I tried to bend some 1/8" aluminum today and it didn't do what I wanted to do. So just gonna build something. All right, we got some people on here. We're gonna get up after it. All right, hope everybody's having a great day. Let's recap. Let's recap where we're at. We got this blocked out. We got a low spot there, we got a low spot there, and we got a low spot there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some 80 grit and I'm gonna skin this right here, and then I'm gonna skim it. I'm gonna skim this one, skim this one, skim this one. Then I'm gonna take my handy dandy heat gun and I'm gonna heat it up to accelerate the process, get it dry. I'm gonna block it back out, and then we're gonna spray some epoxy. All right, I'm gonna show y'all how to do that. So, and I'm gonna show you how to mix up some filler. All right, let me get some 80. All right, I had to go get some tungsten today for the TIG rig. I had to get this tungsten, this laminated tungsten, this 3/32 to do aluminum. I didn't have any, so I had to go get that mess. So we know, I don't know, y'all can't see. Let me back this thing up a little bit. That's what she said. Let me back it up a little bit. Back it up, girl, back it up. All right, so we got a low spot there, low spot there. So we need what? Mechanical and chemical adhesion. Y'all remember we talked about that the other day, right? Mechanical and chemical adhesion. What's the difference? Who remembers? Who remembers what the difference between mechanical and chemical adhesion is? I'll give it just a second. See if somebody can drop it down in the comments. Hey, Tulu TV, I appreciate that. I watched your video, so we'll talk about this until somebody drops it in the comments. I watched your video, and when you went over there and you flipped up that laptop, I said, there's my problem, because I tried to do that from my phone through the desktop on my phone, and it wasn't working. So that right there was a good video, good solid video. Very, very, very easy to follow. If nobody can't follow that, then they don't even need to be watching nothing, because that right there was pretty elementary description on how you done it. And I'll tell you this part right here. When you throw those little arrows in there and those little circles, that was fire. That was fire. That's like, look at him. Look at him. That's badass. That's badass. That was an extra touch going, you need to go right here. You need to go right here. That was good. Very, very, very good. Very, very good. Very, very good. Very, very good video. All right. Does anybody remember what the difference between chemical and mechanical adhesion? What's the difference? Y'all remember? Who remembers? Y'all drop it in the comments. Now, somebody's probably gonna say, why are you using your finger? You're gonna put fingerprints in there. You're gonna make it whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's true. But we're not worried about it because it's already a ditch, right? We gotta fix it anyway. So we gotta scratch it. So we have what? We gotta get those dark spots to look the same. So we have to scratch it. All right, so we do that. Hey man, the weather. How was the weather where y'all was at today? Cause it eventually stopped raining. We got up to like 55 degrees. I gotta paint some motorcycle parts before next Wednesday for these guys down in Florence, South Carolina. So I'm hoping we get a little bit of warmer weather this weekend. Anybody answered the question yet? What's the difference between mechanical and chemical adhesion? What's the difference? Anybody remember from the other day, their notes? Anybody take notes? So the only thing I'm doing is I'm giving. Ain't nobody answered that yet. So what I'm doing is I'm giving it a mechanical adhesion because I'm putting a tooth in it, and it's going to have a chemical adhesion because the chemical reaction in the filler is going to make it react to each other. All right, so you got chemical and mechanical. Wipe our dust off. Do not spray wax and grease remover on body filler. Do not do it. A lot of people come in here and try to spray some wax and grease remover on here to get the oils or something off. You can't do that because body filler is porous, and if I spray wax and grease remover on here, it's going to suck it up like a sponge, and you're going to think it's dry, but it's not dry. And then you go to spray epoxy on top of this, that wax and grease remover is going to be pulled back out into that epoxy, and it's going to crawl off. It's going to delaminate, and you ain't going to like it. It ain't going to like it. All right, so we'll mix up some feather filler and I should have gloves on. Should have gloves on when you're doing body work, so your oils and stuff ain't on the panel. I picked up a pack of gloves today, but somebody mentioned it the other day that he should have gloves on. And for the ones at home, I'm not going to weigh this out. I'm going to do it on a mixing pad like you would do it at home. Instead of weighing it out, I'm going to put it on a mixing pad like you would at home, and try to do the bare minimum of what you got going on. You know what I mean? Right? It will bubble up on you. That's right. Mechanical would be how it's going to clean. It will bubble up mechanical joints together. There you go. 84. He got it. All right, look at this. Look. See that? This is bumper bite or flexible glaze. And let me go get it and I'll show it to you. So about an hour ago, I turned on this heating pad. Hold on, I don't know if you can hear me or not. All right, here it is right here. The ones that missed it the other day, this is this heating pad, right? So about an hour, 2 hours ago, I plugged this up and I laid this filler on there and I laid the hardener on there and then I let it just lay. And then it warmed this up, right? Through the heat, right? So that heated up my glaze so I can work it, right? Like making a biscuit, right? So look right here. It says work time, 5 minutes. Sand time, 15. Now what does that mean? That means my work time is 5 minutes. That's probably all we're gonna need. So let me put a little more. So our work time is 5 minutes. It says work time 5 minutes, but the temperature may vary, right? So that's all I got on the pad, right? Okay, all right. That's why I got gloves on. All right, this is your hardener, right? Now, I'm doing this for the guys at home that do not have a scale. You can buy a scale at Harbor Freight, and you can lay this on the scale. You can tear, T-A-R-E, tear the board out, zero it out, put your filler on there, and then write it down how much filler you got, and then multiply that times 2%, and then tear it out again so it's zeroed out, and then put your hardener in there. A lot of people won't do that because it's aggravating, but that's how you're supposed to do it. But a lot of people just put a little bit on there and then spread a little ribbon on there and mix it up and have at it. That's okay. I've done that for years too, and there's nothing wrong with it. Do whatever works best for you. When people say add more hardener because it's cold and less hardener because it's hot, that's like you got too many boys at the party, not enough girls. Or you got enough girls, you ain't got enough boys. Everything's not linking up like it's supposed to. You got more of one than the other, and you can have a potential fail. What's up, Ray? You can have a potential fail in your product. So make sure you knead this, all right, and get it all mixed up. Once you get it all mixed up, just put you a little ribbon on there, right? So just take and, that's probably actually too much, but, all right? And then, let me take my hat off. Then, so we gotta put filler here. We gotta put word filler here, here, and here, all right? Oh yeah, I'd said it was too much. This stuff is hot. It creamed out, it's okay. Technically, that's why I said I put it on the scale. It is too much, but this is for people that's doing it at home and they're just gonna run a ribbon across it, whatever. Again, I normally weigh this stuff out, but I'm doing this for the guys that are at home, that are DIY guys, and they don't do this for a living. They do it for a hobby, and this, I'm just showing them that, you know, I know that's too much. It's way too much. Probably could have got away with just that much right there. Could have probably got away with just that much. So, all right, so this is how you mix it. So it's about 65 degrees in here. This stuff's about 70. So you mix it up really, really good until it's one consistent. This stuff is gonna turn almost blue because I got too much hardener in it. And then we're gonna spread it there, there, and there, okay? So this is how you mix it, right? Some people take a mixing stick and mix it on the table, mix it like this and stir it up, and that's okay. Some people say, oh, you're putting air bubbles in it. I disagree, but that's my opinion, right? So this is how I mix it up, right? So I get the product and I spread it out, right? And it's gonna be almost like a Tiffany blue or a robin egg blue, all right? So you just keep putting it over on itself. Now again, you got a 5-minute work time at 70 degrees. If you don't know what the 15-degree rule is, I got a video on YouTube on here. Just type in JG Innovation 15-degree rule or 15-minute rule, and it'll tell you all about the 15-minute rule, all right? I'd say that's pretty good mixed. Come through here, grab that one, I grab that one, I grab this one. But since they're so close, I'm just gonna grab them together, right? Now that's a pretty deep hole right there. So I'm gonna run it together. It's already kicked. I'm almost out of my window, my 5-minute window. This stuff sands really, 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 really good. So it's like making a cake. It's done. Look, done. See that? See how that? I don't know if you can see that. See how it's doing? I mean, I'm still spreading it, but you see how it's wrinkling up? See that? It's done. I mean, see, it's done. It's like literally done. All right, we'll talk about cleaning off our spreaders. Hurry up and get them cleaned off before it's over with. How'd I tell you to clean it? If you'll spray it with a little bit of wax and grease remover. All right. Some people will sit there and try to pick that off. Spray it with some wax and grease remover, like so. Get you a rag. Look, I sprayed it wax and grease remover. Done, clean. Now let me show you something else. I didn't show y'all the other night because something happened and I didn't show you. But let me show you this. Say, let me get a big piece and I'll show you. All right, you ever seen, what's up, 87? All right, so you spray wax and grease remover on it, right? And then you take a rag and and then the filler comes right off before it gets completely hard, right? Done, right, it's clean. All right, now let me show you this. Let's say, I don't know if y'all can see this, but say right here on the edge, right here, say your spreader gets uneven, right? Let's say it's little chalky right there, right? I can't hear, but I'm here. Got you. Got you, 87. So let's say right here around this edge, right? It's inconsistent because it's just wore out, right? Some people will try to take a razor blade and cut it. Well, you're not going to cut it straight, and it's going to be wavy, right? Let me show you this. Take a piece of cardboard, right? Take a piece of cardboard. Take the spreader, stick it in the fold, right? Bend the cardboard, bend it. Take the makes it back straight. See that? See that? See? It's nice and straight. So if this, I'll show you. Let's say, all right, look at my spreader. See it? See the spreader? Can y'all see that? See how it's not straight? What I did is I messed it up to show you. See how it's not straight? It's grainy on the end, right? See, it's fuzzy. Y'all, oh, you can see it right, hold on. You see that? See that? It's fuzzy. See that? Take the cardboard, fold the cardboard, take the spreader, stick it in the crack. Look. Now it's straight. Now it's clean. Clean, clean, clean. Put a little heat on this. Put a little heat on it. We're gonna block this out. Now I know this ain't gonna be 100%. This is not gonna be showroom perfect, okay? I know that. This is just showing you the steps to get to where you need to get. All right? So, somebody's probably going to say, is that heat gun going to warp that panel? No. Yes. JG, yes, a UV light would work as well if I had a UV light. I do not have one. Probably so. Oh yeah, I've been looking at them. Traditions. Hey, I appreciate that, traditions. Yeah, I've looked at different ones from Amazon. Amazon got them in, less than $100, couple $100, depending on how big they are. Um, it's not ready. No, because the panel's cold. This panel, this panel's probably 50 degrees. So, because I turn the heat off in the shop when I went to town. I don't heat the shop if I'm not in here. I try not to anyway. It's almost there. Yeah, there's no place around here where I could go look at a UV light. There's not any auto body parts houses around here where I could go actually look at a light. So I'd have to order one on Amazon, and that is kind of aggravating. But I will say this about Amazon. Well, I could say this about Amazon Prime. Well, business, Amazon business. I'm not sure about regular Amazon, but I know with Amazon business, if I get something and all I gotta do is hit return and then take it right back to the UPS store, drop it off, they scan it. Once they scan it, I got my money back. All right, let's let that cool off a little bit. I think it's close. I think it's about ready. Hey Ray. Hey Ray. Guess what I got to eat tonight, tomorrow night, the next night, 2 days from now, 3 days from now, probably 6 days from now. Not that much. Guess what I got, Ray? Guess what I got to eat? Chicken and dumplings. Do not spray wax on, wax off. No, I got chicken and dumplings. Granny made, Amber told, well, the wife told me that that her grandma made me, her grandma made me, like 12 or 13 quarts of chicken and dumplings. Like a damn pot like this big around. So I got chicken and dumplings in Tupperware trays for days. So. Come on, girl, get a hold of me. Y'all see that? If it don't stick to the sanding pad, you're good to go. That's gonna need a little bit more because I'm hitting metal right there. That needs a little bit more, but to be honest with you, this high build primer that I'm about to spray, or 2K epoxy high build, it would feel that right there, so I wouldn't have to swipe that one. So let me do this one, tighten up this body line, and we'll look at it and see what we got. All right, now we're gonna fix the body line. We're gonna tighten up that body line before we put this primer on there. So, take this piece of tape. All right, let me show you what I've done. Yeah. Yeah, Jonathan, I do that too. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna block up to this tape on this side, and then I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna block up on that side, and I'm gonna tighten up this body line, because right there it looks like it's a little hinky. But again, it's just to show you guys what you can do. I'm gonna change grits. I'm gonna go from 80 down to 180. All right, because I just need to shape it. I don't need to like severely cut it. You know what I mean? And when you're blocking, if you roll the tape, then you're past your line, all right? So you try not to, if the tape rolls, then you're already too far. So, and like I say, when you put the epoxy down and it dries, you'll do it again to tighten it up even more. Now, does a lot of people do this? No. But I would, if you didn't do nothing else, I would try to tighten up my body line so it didn't look like it didn't look crazy. You know what I mean? Is what I would do. And sometimes you can get away and use the tape twice if it's sticky enough. This one probably ain't gonna be sticky enough. No. Nope. And again, this fender is not gonna be perfect. I mean, it ain't gonna be show ready. I'm just trying to show you some of the process that you could do at home with minimum tools to work on your own project. I had a guy call me today, and he's probably watching. And if he's watching, he don't have to chime in. But I won't tell his whole story, but he's looking for a truck and asked me if I would be willing to come help him inspect the truck. And I will, if I have to, if I can. But I did give him some numbers of some people that might have some trucks that he can find him a C10 or a square body. I ain't gonna call his name, but somebody's probably saying, why don't you got a mask on? I'm about to cut my beard off because it's fixing to be painting season and I can't wear a mask. Again, this fender is not perfect. I'm just trying to get it roughed in so you can kind of see what you can do at home. Still a little crazy right there, but But again, yeah, it's still a little hinky right there, but it's better than what it was. No, I don't use lead, man. That stuff will kill you. It's still a little hinky right there, but it's pretty sharp. I don't know if this filler will fill that up. That's pretty. I don't know. It might. I don't know. It might. It might. It might clean it up. It might clean it up. What y'all think? Think it'll clean it up? Yes, no, maybe. How long have we been on here? 54 minutes. I didn't want to spend too much time. I know the other nights we was on here for 2.5 hours, and man, we had like 18,000 people watched, and that was crazy. I mean, that was bananas. That means 18,000 people took old JG into their house. How cool is that? How cool is that? It's pretty daggone cool, I think. All right. So, I'm going to show you how to spray some epoxy. Let me get some zip ties so I can zip tie that, and then we're gonna spray some epoxy. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Let me grab some. Let me get some straps. All right, I'm back. I got some zip ties. Let's zip tie this thing down. We're gonna blow it off. And again, I know this fender. I know this fender is not gonna be perfect, and I understand that 100%. I'm just trying to give somebody some confidence that they can go to Walmart, buy some filler, go to Harbor Freight, buy a few tools, spend less than a couple $100, buy you some stands, and try to fix your stuff. All right, so let me show y'all how to mix epoxy. Yeah, it's probably not perfect. All right, so let me show you. This is a mixing cup. All right, you can get these at Lowe's, Walmart, Home Depot, any paint store. You have mixing cups. All right. All right, on these mixing cups, you have different stuff, right? You got 1 to 1 to 1. You got 1 to 1 to. We got 1 to 1.5. You got 2 to 1.5 to 1. 3 to 1 to 1. 4 1 to 1. 4 1 to 2. 4 1 1. 4 2 1 1. 4 2 2. 5 to 1. All right. Yeah, I like that too, Ray. So let me explain. Let me explain how these mixing cups work. And you got parts, all right? We won't get into parts. We won't get into these 1, 2, 3 parts, this part. We won't get into that, okay? So let's talk about 4 1. Let's talk about that, right? So I'm gonna take these gloves off because I can't stand them. So let me show you this. Put that piece of tape in there so you can see. All right, look. All right, see this? Ah, it's backwards. I keep forgetting. All right, here we go. This better. All right, look here. All right, so you got 2, 1 to half to 1, okay? This epoxy mixes 2 to 1 to half, all right? So the first number is the primer, okay, or the epoxy, all right? That's the first number, all right? All right? So the first number, all right, the first number is the product, right? The primer, all right? The second number, the second line is the hardener or the catalyst. The third line is the reducer. Also, the fourth line is the reducer, okay? So this cre321 epoxy, it mixes 2 to 1 to half. It's high build, okay? Then it mixes 2 to 1 to 1 as primer surfacer, all right? So this is how this works, all right? If you only want 8 ounces to spray, all right? 8 ounces to spray, all right? Total ounces, right? So you take that and you ride. I don't know how I'm gonna do this one-handed. So you got 8 ounces, right? So you're gonna ride that thing over to 8 ounces, and that comes up to be roughly, hold on, let me look, and then I'll tell you. Okay, right here. So if I want 8 ounces sprayable, right? If I want 8, come on, son of a gun. There we go. If I want 8 ounces sprayable, right? If I want 8 ounces sprayable, then I followed the 8 ounces over, and it was roughly right here at the 3, right? So that 3. So if I mix it, I'll get 8 ounces sprayable to that 3, right? 3 and 2. I don't know what that means. So what you're gonna do is on your first line, your epoxy, you're gonna fill up your epoxy to the first 3, right? Then from this 3 to that 3, you're gonna add your catalyst or your hardener. So you're gonna go from 0 to the first 3 with your primer or your epoxy. So it's sitting right there. Now you're gonna add your catalyst until the level of the fluid rises up to this 3, okay? That is 2 to 1, all right? So that's 8 ounces sprayable. Well, you gotta reduce this stuff because it is thick as a cob, all right? So you're gonna have to splash a little bit of reducer in it. So you're gonna fill it up from this line to this line with reducer. By doing that, that's gonna give you half. So you've reduced it by half. So now your mix is 2 parts epoxy, 1 part hardener, half a part reducer. So the first line, you fill it up to the 3. From that 3, you fill up the hardener, you add hardener until it gets to the second 3, and then you fill it up with reducer to the third 3. Now that's gonna give you a little bit over 8 ounces sprayable, but that's 8 ounces sprayable, okay? Now, if you wanna reduce it by a whole part, what you do is the same thing. You fill it up to the first 3, then you add your catalyst to the second 3, and then you add your reducer up to this 3. That will reduce it by a full part, okay? Make sense? All right, now let's go over here to, let's go to something else, right? Hold tight, let me turn this thing around. Let me go to something else. Let's go to 4 to 2 to 2, all right? Harley-Davidson paint mixes 8 to 1 to 1. Well, actually, it mixes 8 to 1. Tractor paint mixes 16 to 1. And you can also drop it down to 8 if you could do the fractions. So that's where fractions come involved again. So let's go around here to this side, all right? Let's say that you're mixing something and it calls it to be mixed. See you later, buddy. So let's say you got to mix something 4 to 2 to 2, right? And this is going to be pretty close because it's right here on the edge. Let's say I need 12 ounces sprayable, right? 12 ounces sprayable. Yeah, 12 ounces sprayable. So I'll come right over here and we're going to be at this 3 line right here. So that line right there. Oh yeah, right there. We're about to spray some primer. Yeah, we're about to spray some primer or some epoxy. I'm just showing you how to, so let's say you were spraying something and it mixed 4 to 2 to 2, right? And you needed 12 ounces sprayable. So you come over here and you look, right? And that 3 right there is 12 ounces, all right? So with that being said, if I was using a product that mixed 4 2 to 2, this first column is my primer. If I was using a primer that mixed 4 2 to 2. So this 3 right here is 12 ounces. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill my primer up to the first 3, right? Then I'm gonna add my catalyst where it goes from this 3 to this 3. Then I'm gonna add my reducer and it's gonna bring the product from this 3 to that 3. And then if I draw a line, imaginary line over to here, that's 12 ounces sprayable. All right? Makes sense? Now, I'm not gonna get into parts because if I get into parts, probably gonna lose you. If I've not already lost you, I'm probably gonna lose you. So just think of it pretty simple, right? You're gonna mix it. So we're gonna mix this CRE, it mixes 2 to 1 to half. So just remember, if I mix 2 ounces of product, I need 1 ounce of hardener, right? That's 2 to 1. So for every ounce, so if I have an ounce of primer, then it's 2 to 1, right? So you got 2 parts of the product, 1 part of the catalyst. So I've already got it mixed up over there, and I honestly don't know how much I mixed. Let's just say I went to 4. So I poured the cre321 until it went to the first 4. and then I added the catalyst, and then that brought that primer up to the second four, and then I splashed a little bit of reducer in it, and it went to the third four. Or yeah, went to the third four. So that would be 2 to 1 to half. Now, if I wanted to reduce it by a whole part, I would fill it up to the 4, and then I would add the hardener until it went to the second 4, and then I would pour reducer in it until it went clear to this 4, and now that would go 2 to 1 to 1. You just skip this line, so you just jumped over that line. Does everybody follow? Is anybody confused? If anybody's confused, put your hand up and I'll do it again. So let me know. Let me know. Anybody confused? Anybody need me to go over that again? If you do, that's okay. That's why we're here. Let me know. Because it ain't going to take long to spray this primer, and we're going to be done. So any questions on that? Does that mean you need me to explain that again? Daniel, does that mean you raising your hand? If you raising your hand, give me a thumbs up, and I'll go over it again. Because I want you to get it. Because you can get a little bit advanced and start weighing it. Like weighing it out on a scale. That's another reason why you need a scale. You can weigh it out in grams and parts. I'm not getting into that. We're just going to do a mix and cup. Okay. All right. I'll do it again. All right. So most color, like your colors, like your base colors, they mix 1 to 1, right? So basically, if I put 6 ounces of paint, then I need 6 ounces of reducer. That would give me, that's a 1 to 1 mix. PPG's 1 to 1. A lot of companies are 1 to 1. 1 part paint, 1 part reducer, right? So if I needed 10 ounces sprayable, right, and I was using paint, I would put 5 ounces of paint, 5 ounces reducer. That would give me 10 ounces sprayable, okay? All right, so that's what that 1 to 1 is. Don't worry about these other ones. You don't even have to use them. That's where a lot of people get confused, right? So got 1 to 1. Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, Chris. Daniel said, let's go over it. So I'm going to go over it one more time. All right. So this cre321 that I'm about to spray, it mixes 2 parts epoxy, 1 part catalyst, or a half a part reducer, or 1 part reducer. Right. So what you do is you pour your primer to your first column. Right. So you pour your primer until the primer gets up to whichever level. Let's just say 4, right? So you pour your primer until it gets up to the first 4, right? And now it's sitting there. Now you add your catalyst on top of that, which is going to bring your liquid level up to this 4, which will be 2 parts primer, 1 part hardener. So your primer goes up to the first 4. And then your catalyst you add to it goes to your second 4, okay? Now you need to reduce it by half or by 1. I reduced this by half. So I added reducer until it went to this 4, right? So now it's this 4, this 4, this 4. So you match it, 4, 4, 4. That gives me a mix of 2 parts epoxy, 1 part hardener, half a part reducer. Let's say I wanted to mix it as a primer surfacer, and I wanted to mix it a whole part. I pour up the primer to the first 4, the catalyst to the second 4, and then I pour the reducer up to the fourth 4. I just skip this one all together. I go from here to here. Now that gives me 2 to 1 to 1. You good, Daniel? Are you copacetic on that? All right. Okie dokie. So, here we go. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. So, what we're going to do is I got this primer mixed up. I got this blown off. If you wanted to wipe it down with wax and grease remover, you can. just don't spray wax and grease remover over your body filler. It will suck it up and you will regret it later. So for this demonstration purpose, I'm not wiping nothing off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray. Now I know this body work ain't 100%, so if we spray it and it looks kind of hinky, it's gonna look hinky. But this is high build primer. This stuff builds 14 mils with one coat. All right, so if I put 3 coats on there, that's just say 15, 30, that's 45 mils wet, and then it dries, and then that's gonna be like we just skimmed the whole panel in filler, and then we would block the whole panel out. That's what I did with all those other C10 parts, but this is just for demonstration, okay? So what I'm gonna do is what is called, this is some controversy. A lot of people, they call it different, the triangle method or the reverse triangle. And what that means is, think of a triangle, right? A pyramid, right? So, think of a triangle, right? So some people, I know some people that's taught to spray wide and then stack your primer. And then some people are taught to spray small and go the opposite direction, right? So what that means is you spray your first coat over your whole body work, right? And then you come over. We don't need to spray the whole panel. You just need to spray over your body work. So the first coat would go from here all the way to here, right? So you'd go wet from here to here, from here to here, right? That's your first ground coat, right? Your second coat, you would step in just a little bit and you would go from here to here, from here to here. That's your second coat. So now you have your ground coat, and then you step in, and then you got your next coat. So now you got a wet on wet edge. So it was wet here, now it's wet here. So you don't have no dry spray. We ain't gonna have no dry spray anyway because it's not hot in here. Dry spray is when your product dries before it hits the panel and it makes it grainy. We're not gonna have that problem in here, so it don't matter. So then your third coat, you would step in one more time and you would go from here to here, from here to here. So that's 3 coats, right? You got one big coat, then you stepped in and you got a second coat, then you stepped in and you got a third coat. Now, you only got 1 coat of primer here, you got 2 coats of primer here, and you got 3 coats here because you stacked it, right? Some people go the other direction. They spray here, spray there. So it's like an upside down funnel. I'm going the other way. I'm going wide. I'm going wide at the bottom, like the food pyramid, you know, wide at the bottom, narrow at the top. Okay? That's the way we go. All right? It's going to get pretty foggy in here because I'm not turning on the big exhaust fan because it will suck out what little bit of heat I got in here and it'll just be okay. There ain't nothing in here that can get overspray on that's going to matter. Everything's going to be sanded anyway, so honestly it don't matter. But you need to be in a well ventilated area. All right. All right, so you don't have to go out and buy high dollar paint guns. You can go to Harbor Freight. You can buy them $15 primer guns. All right, you can go to Harbor Freight and buy those $15 primer guns and be fine with it, right? Them throwaway guns, like 15, 20 bucks. Make sure if you get a gun from Harbor Freight, a paint gun from Harbor Freight, make sure you clean it really good before you start using it because they got some kind of, it's not oil, but there's something in it that causes fish eyes and stuff. I got people that call me and say, hey, I got fish eyes on my stuff or something. And I'm like, what are you doing? Well, I bought this gun from Harbor Freight and then I just started spraying. Take it apart, buy you some gun cleaner, some 3M gun cleaner, and clean the gun out, okay? I don't even know what that means, Chris. So if you use PPS cups, right, they have a screen in them. For spraying primer and high build epoxy, you don't need a screen because you're gonna sand it anyway. So you're just gonna choke it out. So just take a razor blade and cut out the screen, all right? What is a PPS cup? This is a PPS cup. You have a liner and then you have a cup, right? And on these cups, it has a mixing. The mixing cup is on it. See that? I just got tape on it, all right? Here's the primer or the epoxy, all right? I've already mixed it up. It's pretty thin because I reduced it. And so Harbor Freight has these cups. I forget, they're made by Spectrum, I think. These are 3M. They're a little thicker. They're a little thicker than the ones at Harbor Freight, but I've used the ones at Harbor Freight. You just gotta be careful because you see how that right there is? I can do that. You can't do that ones at Harbor Freight. They will fold up on top of themselves. Do you use to get the dust off the vehicle before you paint it? Do you use it to get dust off the vehicle? A wax cloth? I don't know what that is. What's a wax cloth? Yeah, Scoot. Hey, Scoot. It's expensive too, man. These things is like $2.50. I mean, they high. They high. So, let me show you this. So, on this, something biting me. All right, so on this mixing cup, or on this liner, you see it's got that indentation right there? I have a shake it or stir it. This stuff is so thick. I have a mixing bank. So what you could do is you could go to your paint store and buy the lids that snap on to your product, right? And you can take the little gear off the top and you can put a cordless drill on it and you can spin it, and it's got a paddle inside that keeps it stirred up. Plus you have, I think these lids are like 20 bucks and you can reuse them. Plus when you go to pour anything, you can just pull the trigger and pour it and you don't have no waste. Oh, you talking about a tack cloth? Yes, yes. I use a tack cloth. Yes, tack cloth. I'm sorry. Yeah, tack cloth. Yeah, wax cloth. I call it, they're tack cloths. Yeah, I only use them one time. Like, you don't want to rub the panel more than you have to because when you rub it, you cause static. And I have the stuff grounded, like ground straps and stuff like that. But the more you rub the panel, you're creating friction. And when you create friction, you're causing static, and static draws dust and dirt, and that static is what causes a lot of trash that gets into paint jobs, honestly. Those destaticized guns, they're big money, and they're like, I hear more people say that they're not worth it, and they spent the money and then they don't even use them. They're in a drawer. So if you do a good wipe down process and use an anti-static wipe, and then don't touch the panel no more as much as you can. Don't touch it as much as you can, and you should be all right. So let me explain these mixing cups, because a lot of people make a mistake on this. A 90K5, that's what's up. Well, James, I appreciate you coming to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. I try to help everybody out. I do not know it all, and if I don't know it, I'll tell it. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find it. I've been doing this a long time, but every day is class day. All right, so you see these mixing cups? You see that lid? Now, these are 3M lids, so they're a little different, but same concept, even with the ones at Harbor Freight. You see that lid, you see that little notch right there, and then you see the notch on this liner, right? You see that notch on that liner? Let me tell you what happens. A lot of people put this lid on, right? And then they put the lid on, and they think the lid's on, and then they take the retaining ring, and they put the retaining ring on there, and they tighten it down. It looks like it's on, right? It ain't. If I turn it upside down, well, if I turn it upside down, it's gonna leak. But if I put it in the paint gun like that, and I go to turn it upside down, let me show you what's gonna happen. And I've done it, it happens. You get in a hurry, not paying attention, blah, blah, blah. See that right there? Y'all see that daylight? See that right there? Can y'all see that? See that right there? Yeah, hold on a second. See that? It's not sealed. You pull that up, you see it? It's not sealed. And you go to turn that upside down, the paint's gonna leak through there and you're gonna be in a bad shape. So listen to this, listen. Well, it used to snap, but see that? Now it's sealed. See that? All the way around. Make sure it is completely. Now don't have that little plunger on top because it gets air up into it. It gets air up into it and it pulls it out like a balloon and you won't never be able to push it down, right? So don't make sure there's nothing on that cap and push it down. So let me show you. Let's see if I can get it off without making a mess. It won't be the first time. See that ring? See that snap? You have to, everybody be quiet and listen. Listen. Did y'all hear that? Do-do-do-do. She is locked down. See that? You can pick it up. It's locked down, right? Don't do that with the Harbor Freight bags. They'll fall, I promise you. But you see how it's sealed? All right? Take your locking ring, right? Put your locking ring on it. Make sure you don't cross thread it. Make sure it goes down. Give it a good tight. Here's another thing that people make a mistake on too. I've done it, get in a hurry, not paying attention. You got these little notches, right? Those little notches go down into that. Now listen, it's a booger. Make sure that thing is seated all the way down. You see that? It's seated. Then once it's seated, turn it. You see that? By doing that, it puts that little tang over that. So now when I turn it upside down, it doesn't come off and it doesn't leak, all right? All right? Now, when you go to take it off, make sure you hold it. Give it a turn. Before you pull this off of the gun, pull the trigger. Hold it for like 10 seconds. That lets all the paint or primer or whatever you got in the gun run back into the thing, then pull it off, okay? All right? Same thing. These are PPS bags, so it lets you spray, but see, here it's sloshing around. So you hold it upside down, right? This gun is dirty, boy. Hold this gun upside down, hold the gun upside down and pull the trigger, purge the trigger, and what it'll do is it'll suck all the air out of the bag and make it vacuum tight so there's no void in there when you go to spray, okay? I appreciate you taking the time to explain all this for the ones that don't know. Oh, yes, sir, no problem, John. I appreciate you being on here. Have you ever not tightened the tip? Yes. All right, so what Wes is talking about is this right here. That tip right there, if you have a lot of problems, like your gun's fluttering and it's doing crazy, stupid stuff, and it's not spraying, and you're adjusting your air pressure, and it just ain't acting right, it's going all hinky or whatever, it's probably because that right there is not tight. Like, put your paint gun wrench on there and snug it, right? Also with the sodas, I love sodas, don't get me wrong, I'm a soda guy. Love sodas, all right? Sodas has a plastic neoprene, whatever you want to call it, has a plastic bushing, washer, whatever you want to call it, on the back side of this. I'm not going to take it apart because the tool's down there in the paint booth. If you can tighten that too much and it'll crush it, all right? So, and over time, you need to rebuild your guns. And to rebuild them, you need to get a rebuild kit, and they're pretty expensive. All right, so another thing is, make sure your little tips is cleaned out. This is a 2.2 SATA 5000 HVLP. HVLP stands for high volume, low pressure. And then you have RP, which is reduced pressure, which are like friggin' water hoses. This is a 2.2, and the 2.2 is the size of the tip, all right? 2.2, all right? See that? This gun right here, I've had this gun right here. Ever since the SATA 5000s come out, that's how long I've had this gun. This one has the Atom 2 docking station on it, so I know the air pressure, plastic collar for the tip seat. There you go. Appreciate it, Wes. Yeah, so they have an exploded view on all the parts to replace these. Honestly, I need to send... I need to send my sodas back to SATA and have them just completely go and rebuild them. But they quoted me like $400 per gun. And then I got 2 new guns from Exodus. I got their 1.3 OP and their 1.5 OP. And OP means like RP, but they had to call it OP because of patent reasons. I used their 1.3 OP for sealer, base, candies, and pearls, and then I used their 1.5 for clear coats. Those 2 guns there, that's all I use those for. Then I have some Supernovas. I have a Supernova 1.2 and a 1.3 HD. I use that for super solid high clears. I use that 1.5. The only thing that I would say about the Exodus 1.5 is, for me, using sodas and Awadas, they spray a whole lot faster than the Exodus guns, from the guns from Luma. They're really, really good guns. So if you've never had a gun and you want to get a new gun, whatever, go to Luma. And what I'm saying is this right here. Go to them. I'm sponsored by them. Go to Luma 3, and whatever they have on there, you can get it. And then the code is Jeremy7. Anything they got on their website, as long as it's not on sale, you can get it. Now, I use those guns. They have the sunlights on the guns and stuff like that. Really, really good stuff, really good stuff. The only problem that I had with them is they're not as fast, in my opinion, for the sodas or the waters. That's the only thing. And them guys at Luma, they're super great guys. I did a review on them and weighed them. Their guns are really, really small frames. They are really, really small. They don't weigh that much. All jammed out with the light and everything, doesn't even weigh what this soda weighs on the table. Now, I have one. I got mine in 2018. I paid $13.50 for mine. Got what? What did you get in 2018? Wes, what did you get in 2018? You didn't get the Exodus gun because it just come out. It just come out last year. I don't know. You can get the gun, the light, the charger, and I think you get the whole bundle kit for like $749, $799, somewhere around. Don't quote me on it. I don't know. You'd have to go look. You'd have to go look. But Wes, what did you pay $13.50 for? What gun did you get? It's probably a Sada. You paid $13.50 for. Yeah, I know it. I know it was. I know it was. This 2.2 right here, I don't even know how much it was. Now I got the Route 66 one, and I wanted to get the Captain Jerry. It's SATA. Is how you spell it. If somebody wants to know, it's SATA. But I have the Route 66 one. It's a limited edition. I wanted the Captain Jerry's, but it got gone super good. How do they hold up? The Luma guns? Oh, they're like the Wattas. There's no seals. There's no seals. That is another good thing that's another good thing I like about them. There's no seals. It's metal to metal, just like the Watta Supernovas. I don't know if you've ever been that same gun you got. This gun? This one here or the Luma gun? Which one? This one? The Sada? The Luma 3 guns, the Exodus guns, has no seals. They're all metal to metal, like the Wattas, like the Watta Supernovas, the HD Supernovas, the high definition one. They're all metal to metal. Oh, you have this same gun. The same gun you have here. You have this one. Is that what you're saying? You have this one? I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to keep up. The Luma, the Exodus gun, the 1.3 and the 1.5 OP, they're all metal to metal. There is like the Wattas, and I like that because there's nothing there to rebuild because it's metal to metal. All right, so that's that. So we're at 96 minutes. Let's spray some primer. How about that? Y'all ready? All right, so I'm probably just gonna do like coat after coat after coat after coat after coat, just to kind of get this thing moving along. Cause this stuff is really, really, really strong, and I don't want to breathe as much as, I don't want to have to breathe as, I don't want to breathe as, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to breathe a lot of it if I don't have to. So I'm going to tell you what you're supposed to do. So this stuff has at 70 degrees, you have a 10 to 15 minute, you have a 10 to 15 minute flash time at 70 degrees. So if it's 70 degrees in here and you got 70 degree reducer, it's one hardener. There's no different hardener for CRE. You have 10 to 15 minutes flash times in between coats. And what that means is once I put the first coat on there, and it depends on how wet you lay it too, all right? If you lay it super heavy wet, you're gonna have to increase your flash times, all right? If it's super hot outside, if it's 85 degrees and you're using 70 degree reducer, then your flash time is cut in half. So if it's 10 minutes flash time, now it's cut down to 5 minutes. If it's 95 degrees, it's cut in half again. So you're down to like 2.5 minutes in between coats, all right? If you go the other way, if it's 70 degrees and you're using 95 reducer, then instead of having 10 minutes flash times, now you got like 35, 40 minute flash times. CRE has a 7-day recoat window, meaning that once I spray this fender, I can let this fender sit for 6 days and come back and respray that fender after I wipe the dust off of it, and don't even have to sand it. Me personally, I've never done that ever because I just couldn't do it. But you can and then let's say I prime this fender with cre321 or 921, and let's say in 6 days I come back and I want to recoat it. I can recoat it with itself up to 7 days. Meaning on the 6th day, I can come in here and recoat this fender and I'll still have chemical and mechanical adhesion. Pretty impressive. Also, if I spray this fender with cre321 epoxy, I don't have to sand it to put body filter on top of it within 24 hours, I got a 6-day window. I don't even have to spray. I don't even have to sand it. I think that's what it says on the piece sheet. Me personally, I always sand it. Always sand, always sand, always sand. So basically, if we was in the booth and we was doing this for real, I'd spray the first coat. We'd wait 10, 15 minutes. I'd spray another coat. I'd wait 10 or 15 minutes, and I'd spray another coat. So to spray this fender, it would take at least an hour, hour and 15 minutes to spray 3 coats on this fender and be done with it, okay? But for this purpose, I'm just gonna spray it. We're gonna talk about it a little bit. I'm gonna spray it again. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit. I'm gonna spray it again. We're gonna be done and done, all right? So, and we'll go from there. I'll show you how to set the gun up. All right, I'm gonna do it on this piece of plywood right here. All right. All right, so let me show you this. So on a solder, I run it all the way in. Can you tell you've been doing this for a long time? All right, so this right here, so you got 2 ways to pull the trigger, right? So I'm pulling the trigger like this. There's nothing coming out but air, right? That's where you want to stop at. A lot of people will spray, they'll spray and then they'll stop. They'll spray, they'll stop. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? So when you do that, especially when you're spraying base coat and clear coat. So if you're spraying clear coat and you go, what you're doing is you're spraying, and then when you're letting off of it, it's sucking back. So whatever was at the end of it before it got away, you sucked it back in there, and now you're going to create dry spray around the nose or the tip or the nozzle, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. You're going to have a little bit of trash right there. So eventually, while you're spraying, you're going to have debris there. And then the next time you go to spray, guess what? You just blow that crap right into your panel, all right? So if you'll get into the habit, spraying primer, not doing that, then you will have muscle memory where you won't do it on the other end. So it's not a thinking thing. You know what I mean? So if it's called muscle memory. It's like if you know how to do the codes on Atari without looking down at your fingers, or Super Mario Brothers, or whatever you play, that's called muscle memory, right? So you want to kind of develop muscle memory. So just remember that. Also, water-based paint is like 75% overlap. Solvent-based paint is like 50% overlap. So if you'll just train yourself, muscle memory, to do 75% overlap, then you don't have to worry about, oh, am I spraying water-based today, or am I spraying solvent today? Am I spraying single stage today? Am I spraying candy today? What am I spraying today? It don't matter. Do it all the same. 75% overlap, and then you're good to go, okay? All right, so here's another thing. When you pull the trigger, you can just hear the air, right? Then you run your fluid needle. This is your fluid needle. You run it all the way in until you feel it bump. When you feel it bump the trigger, back it off 1/8 of a turn and then lock it down. That's no restrictions whatsoever from here to here, right? A lot of people will run it all the way in and then turn it out 1.5 rounds, and they're restricting the fluid flow coming out of their gun. So you're not really using your gun, your paint gun, like you're supposed to. It's not efficient. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, think about this. Think you got a water hose, and then you put a hose clamp on the water hose, and you're trying to get the water out of the water hose, and you keep turning up the air pressure, and you keep doing it, and you're not getting no more. All you're doing is you're adding more air pressure. You're not getting no more fluid because you got the daggone hose clamped at the back. So you don't want no restrictions whatsoever. So what I do is I run the trigger all the way out, right? That's just air, right? And then I run it in until I feel it bump the needle, and then I stop, and then I lock it down, right? That tells me that I'm full throttle, I'm full tilt, and I'm good to go, and there's no issues whatsoever. Another thing that people don't use is high flow fittings, right? See that right there? That's a high flow fitting. That is a damn water hose. You see that right there? There's no restriction. I don't put regulators at the bottom. I don't do anything. I use high flow. I use Prevost high flow fittings. I use Prevost high flow air lines. I use Prevost high fitting air nozzles. I use it all because same concept. You're choking it down. I had somebody one time borrowed one of my Awatas, they borrowed one of my Awata Supernova, and they was spraying clear, and they struggled spraying clear flat. And I let them borrow my Supernova, and I said, that thing likes to eat like 32 PSI. Do what? I said 32 PSI, from 32 PSI at full throttle. And then they called me and said that they couldn't get no more than like mid-20s. And they had it on the wall, jacked up, and they could go mid-20s. And went up there and changed their fitting from regular flow to a high flow and changed the end to a high flow, and bam, there you go. She's full throttle. Now, here's another thing that I'll tell you that people don't understand, that people don't think about. When you're setting your gun up, right? People say, well, I spray at 28 PSI. So you sitting here and you're trying to set your gun up, and you set it up to 28 PSI, and you're like, okay, let's go, right? All right, now you go to spray, right? And you pull full throttle to get your, you go to spray, and when you go to spray, you're spraying. But if you looked at your gauge to see what you're spraying at, you're not spraying at 28 PSI. You're actually spraying less than that, because what they've done is they set it at the wall at 28 PSI. If you got 25 foot of hose, you got pressure drop. You got pressure drop through that 25 foot hose. So if you set your gauge up on your gun, on your spray gun at 25 PSI or 28 PSI, and then you set it up like this, and you're like, oh yeah, I got it at 28, but then you go to spray, it drops down to like 22. I'm just throwing that number out to you. I don't know what it drops. It drops down. So you're not spraying at your set PSI because you had pressure drop and she went down, right? So I say set your gun up at wide open throttle, and where your fan's gonna be, and you need to be 9 inches. So from the end of my pinky to the end of my thumb is 9 3/8. If you wanna lose some money, I'll prove it to you. So you wanna be at least 9 inches from the panel, and at 9 inches from the panel, you wanna be 9-inch fan, right? And then you wanna do a 75% overlap. This works best for me, right? You find the sweet spot that works for you. What works for me is I spray a whole lot different than I spray different, right? So this is just to tell you where I'm at. I'm at 9 inches from the panel, plus or minus, and I'm 9 inches spray pattern, 9 inches plus or minus, right? And I'm at full tilt. I'm at full pull. Can I ask a question about the air fit and how come it's like bottleneck and some are right? Scoot, there is so many different, there's N's, M's, L's, Q's, R, there's all kinds of daggone fittings. And that is like one of my biggest things. But high flow fittings are high flow. They're 3/8. They are high flow. Everything that I have in my shop is high flow. Everything will work a whole lot better. Your grinders, your Dremel, everything that runs, your DAs, everything that you have, if you put high flow fittings on them, they will work more efficiently because they're getting adequate airflow, okay? But I don't know, you know, some companies, they want certain things, stuff like that. That's why you got all these different ends. But if you'll go to a high flow end, your stuff will work a whole lot better. All right, so so at full, well, I just sprayed just that little bit of primer and it's rough. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to set up your spray pattern, and then we're gonna get to it. If anybody's, okay, I just got part of the seat better. Oh, here, I'll show you. You see it, Scoot? See that? I might have an old one in here. I can show you the difference. All right, so I'm gonna show you this, how to set up your spray, right? Probably help to put my gun back together. See how that is? That's not a very good pattern. That's more of an ellipse, right? So I would struggle, you know, to get 9 inches, right? I would struggle, right? So let me change it. Let me change it. This stuff sticks too. All right, it's a little heavy on one side. The gun could be dirty. But see how it's heavy on, this side, not heavy on that side? I turned it around sideways. See how it's heavy on that side, not heavy on that side? It's probably because it's got some trash in the tip. It's probably because there's, on the solder, you got 2 holes on that side and 2 holes on that side. So it's probably a little stopped up, but it's primer. But if it was pearls or candies, you'd hate yourself in the morning, I promise you. You would. I promise you'd hate yourself. All right. So I'm gonna turn the air pressure down a little bit so it don't cause too much. So. I figured, hell, we just go ahead and spray the whole thing. Hell with it. All right, I will say this. If you're gonna prime the whole fender, you might as well trim it out first, then prime the whole fender. I figured I'd just go ahead and prime the whole fender and go from there, okay? All right, so technically, hell, let's take my mask off so I can tell you. So technically, if you're gonna spray the whole fender, you need to trim it out first. Now this thing's rusty, dude. So you trim it out. All right, trim your panel out. I don't know if I got enough hose. All right, and you come back around. There we go. Trim out your panel, right? Look out, boys and girls, we about knocked her over. We about had a daggone cluster. All right. Boy, it's thick as a cob in here. So, woo! Let me turn. I ain't gonna make it. I gotta turn the fan on. One handbrake. Well, man, that's pretty cool there. Let me turn these fans on. Woo. All right, so we're gonna put another coat on, and then we're gonna go from there. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna put another coat. Now I know we got some deep scratches right there. That's some 80 grit scratches and some 180 scratches, and we got a little bit of fugly going on right there. But y'all get the concept, you know, of it. Like again, this is just a junk fender. So I got a little bit left. So second coat, we don't need nothing on that. We just need it right here, right? Again, you're supposed to let this stuff flash, but just for visual. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, we cut it. Yeah, cut in. Yeah, that's called that too. Trim it out, cut in. Same thing, Wes. Hey, I get. What's up, big fish? Hey, I'm getting a 30 by 30 pole barn. I have a Curtis. Single phase. The biggest one you can get on single phase is 33 CFM at 90 at 185 PSI. That is my primary. Then I have a backup Emerson Ram that is a 30 CFM at 90. So I have my Curtis, which has a pre-cooler, a post-cooler, sandblaster mode, automatic drain. Then that dumps into my secondary compressor, which is a backup compressor because it's my older compressor. Then it comes out of that 80-gallon tank, goes into another 80-gallon tank. Then it goes through a refrigerator dryer. Then it comes into the shop, goes through a water trap, and then it runs through this whole shop. Then it goes 250 foot underground, one section, to the paint booth. And then it goes into another 80. It goes through a 5-stage DeVilbiss water trap tsunami system. Then it goes into another 80-gallon tank. And then it comes out of that tank and through another refrigerator dryer into my paint booth. Holy crap. I appreciate that right there. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much so. So we got a little bit left. So y'all want to run it? Who wants to run it? I have a Solar 260. Daggone. That's a monster there, Wes. All right, big fish. So think of it like this. Get the biggest compressor that you can afford, because a DA, right, eats about 15 CFM, okay, at 90. So think about it. If this thing is eating 15 CFM at 90 and your air compressor is only putting in 12 CFM at 90, it doesn't matter if you got a 1,000-gallon tank, it's not going to be able to keep up. So it's going to constantly run. And the more it runs, it's going to make condensation. The more condensation it's going to make, you're going to have water problems. So think of it like that. Get the biggest compressor that you can afford and then go from that. So anything 24, 25 CFM at 90 is good for a single guy, single shop. Don't stay away from the compressor that has SCFM, because that's crazy. That's a whole nother can of worms. This shit is so thick I can taste it in the back of my throat. I'm a mobile media blaster with green. Hey, my guy that comes here and does mobile blasting, he's a mobile guy. He comes out of China Grove. Who wants to run it? Let's do hashtag run it. Let's see how many hashtag run it's we can get. Y'all gonna have to hurry up because I'm about to suffocate. Come on, let's see it. Hashtag run it. I'll put that shit on the floor. Oh, fender don't look that bad. Other than the top up there. I mean, up there at the top where it's kinked. I mean, we know we were gonna fix that, but other than that, I mean, we got a little hinky right there. You can see it in the light bulb. We got a little something right there, but it'd probably block out. All right, everybody says run it. We're gonna run it. Let's run it. This is a 2.2 tip. Let's run it. We're gonna stack it like bacon. It'll run quick on them edges. What I tell you, it's already running. Look, I told you. It's running, look. It's already running, look. Look at it. Look at that sag. Look at that grass. Boys, I'm about to die. Y'all better be hitting that subscribe button. There it is. There's your run. Son of a gun. I have to die. Ooh. Exit left. I'll be coughing that shit up for a fucking week. Ooh. I don't know what you looking for, Wes. I mean, look, it's thick. Look, that shit's in my. There ain't no buzz gonna be here tonight. Oh yeah, I know. Oh, I know. I'm going. That shit's rough, boy. Gonna make my babies be born naked.
All right, so I am your father. All right, so man, I hope everybody had a good time. I really do. If anybody's got any questions,
now I know that's not 100% how to do it, you know, and somebody's probably gonna get on here and go, look at this jackass. What the hell is he doing? He ain't doing that right.
But I thought we were the one that said that.
Said what?
Look, I am your father. Get that man a cough drop. All right, boys and girls, I had a blast. Like to see you block it out.
Hey, we can, but shit fire.
We can block it out, but
it's gonna be later. Like, we put so much product on that, and it's cold. It'll probably take a week, at least a week,
for that thing to dry out.
Yeah, make your babies be born naked.
So, but yeah. Woo!
About time for some chicken and dumplings, boys and girls. Born naked.
So, I appreciate every single one of you. I'm gonna try to get this right here done. No, I don't have any of that.
Wes, I don't have any of that. Sorry, I don't have none of that. Hey, Wes, call Automail Direct and ask to speak to Jason or Eddie. Call Automail Direct and ask to speak to Jason Chandler or Eddie and tell them I sent you.
And
if they can help you out, they'll help you out. If they can't, they can't. But call them and ask to speak to Jason Chandler or Eddie.
Okay. Yes, sir, James. Not a problem. Yeah. So, as a first timer, I will take any.
Hey, well, you stay on the channel there, big dog. You hit that sub button, and I'm on here all the time. I try to be on there every day live. I drop it in the comments when I go live what you want to know. That's why I done this fender.
is because some people said, hey man, can you show us how to fix a dent DIY? And that's what I did. So, and then we built that pipe anvil, built some tools, and we'll go from there. So, yeah, everybody did great. Everybody did great. I appreciate everybody. Everybody, I really do. Every single one of you. Like I say, I go and post. I put up in the, like when I'm gonna go live, I put on there a timer so you'll know, so you can hit the notification so you know when I go live. Like, been doing this 68C10 hood, been building this 68C10, building a true fresh air, cold air intake system in it. Been doing a lot. I got it covered up. I don't want to uncover it, but this truck here got a lot of stuff going on in it. Got the aluminum over here, building a fresh air box like a real true ram air, taking that all up together. Going to build a chassis for this 61 Ford box truck. Got all the rails, got the A-arms, got all that stuff. Going to do that. And we're going to go from there. So, let me know if you need a motor and train. Hey, I got that. We put in a Mustang. Got a 95 GT Mustang. Putting that in there. But yeah. LT4. Oh, now we're talking. Yeah, well, I have to find something to put one of them in. Yeah, so he wanted to keep this all Ford, so put a 95 GT Mustang in it. But that's what I got. It's over there. Already built it. I'll show you right quick. Right there. Got that. There's the rear end. It's automatic. Yeah, got a lot of stuff going on. Woo, woo. Yeah, she's a hoss there, boy. 2019, that's a hoss. All right, so I appreciate you. I appreciate every single one of you. Hit that sub button, hit that subscribe button. Show support. If somebody supports you, try to support them. You know, just we're all in it together. We're all paddling in the same boat. If somebody can help somebody, help them out, because you never know how much a little bit of kindness can help somebody. Somebody could be on their last day and want to throw in a towel and give up, and then somebody shows just a little bit of ounce of gratitude and appreciation to somebody, and it might change that person's life forever. So you never know what nobody's going through. I go through stuff every day. I'm dealing with stuff every single day that I don't even talk about. But remember, you can be a thermostat or you can be the thermometer. Which one you going to be? If you're going to be a thermostat, you set the temperature of the room. If you're going to be a thermometer, you are the temperature of the room. You go with the flow. So I'd rather be a thermostat than a thermometer. So, but again, I got to clean this paint gun. And y'all have a great afternoon, and I'll try to get y'all some stuff tomorrow. I'm going in here and eat me some chicken and dumplings. It's 9 o'clock here on Thursday, and Jay is tired. I've been at it since 5 a.m. this morning, and tomorrow's Valentine's Day. So I don't know, I might not go live tomorrow because people out doing Valentine's stuff, but I'll definitely be back Saturday. I definitely got to paint these motorcycle parts. Yeah, Jonathan, I appreciate that. Yep, I appreciate you remembering that. I got to paint these motorcycle parts before Tuesday of next week. So Lord willing, least it let's stop raining, and I'll turn the heat on the booth and I'll paint some motorcycle parts. So I appreciate you, every one of you. Remember I said, boys and girls, don't worry about the man up the road or down the road. Sweep off your own front porch while sweeping off anybody else's. Put God first, let loose end drag. Piece of chicken grease, I'm out.